Hello everyone, I'm Daniel Lasik from the Crafting Research Center at the University of Gothenburg in Sweden. Welcome to this video abstract of the World Journal of Pediatrics paper titled "Is sibship composition a risk factor for childhood asthma? A systematic review and meta-analysis." The background to this paper comes from the rapid increase that was seen in atopic diseases such as allergic rhinitis as well as asthma during the last half of the last century. A lot of theories came about to what this increase could depend on. One of the most famous hypotheses was the hygiene hypothesis, coined by David Strahan, which suggests that siblings, particularly older siblings, act as protection against allergic disease. A lot of papers were published subsequently on this topic, including on asthma, but the evidences were conflicting. So what we wanted to do was to synthesize the existing literature and investigate if there truly is an association between birth order and sibship size, meaning the number of siblings on one hand, and the risk of asthma on the other. We also include the related condition of wheezing as an outcome. The methods that we used was to extensively search 15 databases. Each step was performed in pairs, so study selection, data extraction, and quality assessment was done independently by two reviewers and then compared for differences. We analyzed comparable numerical data using random effects robust variance estimation, RVE. RVE was used since this method can account for dependent data. And this was commonly the case in our data, since, for example, different birth orders were compared against the same reference group, namely those that were first born. So what did we identify? We found 158 studies from across the world, and in total involving over 3 million subjects. Overall, the study quality was moderate or strong, with relatively few weak studies in terms of risk of bias and methodological quality. When it comes to wheezing, in the last 1.5 years, we saw that a birth order of 2 or above and a sibship size of 2 or above compared to 1 were associated with slightly higher risk of wheezing, about 10 to 16% increased risk. For asthma, however, there were mostly non-significant associations. However, for subjects aged 6 years or above, we saw a slight decrease in risk, about 7%, for those with at least one older sibling. What can we conclude from this data? Well, it appears that there's a slightly increased risk of temporary wheezing in infants in the presence of older siblings or siblings in general. Also, we saw that there is a marginal protective effect of the presence of older siblings on the risk of asthma. Our data highlights that there is a great heterogeneity and complexity in these diseases, and that the effect of siblings are perhaps existing but not very strong. Thank you very much.